What's up, y'all? So, here we got another Workers' World Party article. It reads, Racist, sexist, job-killing, union-busting robber baron appointed to head USPS by Joe Piette. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that. Alright. So let's get into it. The Trump administration, COVID-19, and U.S. Senate reluctance to provide needed funding have put the U.S. Postal Service in dire economic straits. To make matters worse, newly appointed Postmaster General Louis DeJoy comes with 35 years experience in labor analytics, the art of eliminating as many jobs as possible, and other anti-worker practices. Alright, there's a image right there. Workers striking in 2018 against XPO, the new postal head's former company, with a long record of anti-union animus. Ooh, would you look at that? Yeah, this guy seems like he's totally fit to run USPS. Cause like, bro, I swear, one day, if this guy keeps his job, all those people, they're gonna be wearing postal service uniforms. So, criticism of the new postmaster is centered on his $2 million in contributions to the Trump campaign and other Republican causes since 2016 and his fundraising responsibilities for the 2020 Republican National Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina. His former company, New Breed Logistics, had a terrible labor record, rife with sexual harassment, discrimination, speed up, workplace injuries, excessive use of temps, misclassifying workers as independent contractors, and inadequate sick leave during the current pandemic. More automation. DeJoy, whose term begins June 15th, is only the fifth Postmaster General since 1971 to not come from within the U.S. Postal Service bureaucracy. His experience in supply chain logistics was clearly a factor in his appointment. DeJoy's New Breed Logistics, before it merged with XPO Logistics, was a contractor to the USPS for more than 25 years, supplying the organization with logistics support for multiple processing facilities, the USPS announcement revealed. Currently, XPO does extensive business with the Postal Service, $57 million in 2017, potentially putting DeJoy in the position of overseeing decisions that affect his personal financial interest. He served terms as XPO CEO and a board member before retiring in 2018. The company continues to rent warehouse space from him, and he and his wife own between $25 million and $50 million in XPO stock. The funding that the Postal Board of Governors is asking from Congress includes $35 billion for modernization. What might DeJoy's version of modernization look like? Take a look at the website of XPO. Our focus is on robotics, autonomous vehicles, automated sortation systems, drones, and other cutting-edge technologies that speed goods through the supply chain. Once startup is complete, our managers use XPO smart labor analytics to optimize productivity. In other words, the company specializes in the science of weeding out any worker who's not super productive and super compliant, with no regard to seniority or a worker's humanity. We can expect DeJoy to bring the same mentality to running the Postal Service. Postal workers have experienced modernization before, like in other industries. Every wave of technological innovation since the 1980s has made work more difficult, while eliminating jobs, descaling positions, and increasing the number of lower-paid temporary workers. Now, during the pandemic, all postal workers are considered essential. All are exposed to COVID-19 dangers, but temp workers get much lower pay and benefits. Anti-union animus. While DeJoy was CEO, New Breed acted with anti-union animus, the National Labor Relations Board ruled in 1994. That's when New Breed avoided hiring longshore and warehouse union members after securing a contract to run a U.S. Army terminal in Compton, California. Oh, Compton. In 2008, DeJoy and Boeing provoked a 57-day strike of 27,000 machinists who fought back against plans to outsource 5,000 union jobs in parts delivery and facilities maintenance to non-union New Breed Logistics. The longest strike in Boeing history ended with a compromise deal that prevented the loss of 5,000 jobs, but allowed New Breed to deliver parts to Boeing factories. In 2013, a Tennessee jury awarded $1.5 million to three New Breed temp warehouse workers in a sexual harassment and retaliation lawsuit. The workers had been fired for complaining about a manager's unwelcome sexual touching and lewd, obscene, and vulgar sexual remarks. The employee handbook, which had sexual harassment protocols, was purposely kept out of the hands of temps, who made up 80% of the workforce. Wow, that's pretty suspicious. In 2014, the New York Times reported 4 women working for New Breed in a Memphis warehouse suffered miscarriages after supervisors refused their request for light duty during their pregnancies. Workers hoped that conditions would improve when XPO took over, but instead things got even worse. Workers were now expected to pack 120 boxes per hour instead of 60. Wow, double the work in an hour. And were punished for too long bathroom breaks. People gotta go to the bathroom, bro. Come on now. In 2017, a woman died of cardiac arrest on the warehouse floor, and workers around her were told to keep working. In 2018, 2 more women miscarried. Since 2000, XPO and its subsidiaries have racked up 16 wage and hour violations, with fines totaling $35 million. They have also been dinged 6 times for employment discrimination, 5 times for labor relations, 8 times for aviation safety, and 22 times for health and safety violations. The state of California has repeatedly awarded back wages to XPO truck drivers who were misclassified as independent contractors. Truck drivers, warehouse workers, and international drivers at hundreds of XPO facilities worldwide held a day of protest on May 30, 2019 against abuses and wage theft. U.S. efforts were coordinated by the Teamsters, who organized a handful of XPO units. As someone who drives from Tijuana, Mexico to San Diego every day to work more than 12 hours, said driver Jose Chima Rodriguez. It's ludicrous that I'm still unable to afford to live in the United States because of the compensation and benefits XPO has denied me by misclassifying me as an independent contractor. They're just looking for ways to pay people less, which they'll probably do, to the USPS workers. So when the pandemic hit, the New York Times reported that XPO offered to lend workers up to 100 hours of time off, but they would have to repay the time. Wow. What's the point? What's the point of getting time off if you have to repay it later on? So a Miami truck driver told the paper that even if he got coronavirus, he would have to keep driving his 18-wheeler. On April 4th, workers walked out of an XPO warehouse in Palmyra, New Jersey, over COVID-19 concerns after 3 workers became infected. Do you see this? Do you see this? This is so heartless. This guy's probably going to tell USPS workers, if you catch COVID and your doctor notifies you that you test positive in the middle of your shift, well, you need to go keep delivering that mail. You need to do it. It's your job. Also, no hazard pay, no vacation pay, and we're not going to help you with your medical bills. That's what this guy's probably going to do. And then these USPS workers, if they're infected, are going to infect hundreds of, even maybe thousands of Americans because of this heartlessness. Time to fight. Already the pandemic has caused the deaths of more than 60 postal workers. 60 postal workers! And as of May 24th, more than 97,000 people have died in the U.S., disproportionately people of color and the elderly. Over 17,000 postal workers have been sickened or have had to self-quarantine. The pandemic has created a massive funding crisis for the Postal Service, but the struggle to save the Postal Service is taking place under a presidential administration that is openly hostile to its existence. The threat to postal jobs and benefits also comes at a time of historic unemployment, with more than 38 million unemployment claims since late March. Perhaps 1/3 of the U.S. workforce has become jobless. Many never get their jobs back. The 38% turnover rate among non-career employees at USPS in 2018-2019 will likely decrease. Workers in the second-tier perma-temp positions, mail handler assistants, postal support employees, city carrier assistants, and rural carrier associates may be unwilling to quit despite inflexible schedules, arrogant supervisors, the physical demands of the work, and working too many or too few hours. People will be desperate to feed and house their families. If workers can't afford to walk away from the job, they might be more willing to fight for their rights on the job. Much like workers during the Great Postal Strike of 1970, the postal workforce at that time included many veterans newly returned from the Vietnam War who came back angry. Veterans were extremely against the war, and black workers were inspired by the Black Liberation Movement. The rebellious spirit of the times led to defiant action within the post office. After the last few years of teacher strikes, Black Lives Matter protests, and the hashtag #MeToo movement, it appears such a spirit is percolating again. So yeah, I think I said all I needed to, but essentially, look at the heartlessness of these people, and look how they donate to the majority party, especially the party that is essentially holding the executive branch, the administration, the presidential administration. Just because they donated to these people, they got a job, the head of a bureaucracy, which they admit the people who appointed this person are openly hostile to. Like, Donald Trump has literally said that they need to be turning a profit, otherwise he's not going to care or bail them out or anything. He's saying that they need to charge like 10 times the amount that they're already charging for everything that the USPS does. I mean, come on, man. It's a public good. It's a public service. We shouldn't be charging and making a profit up for public service. And on top of that, the probability of these people being forced to work while infected with COVID or losing their jobs is just dangerous. It's going to spread the virus. Spread the virus. We're going to kill people. I've always said these people should be accountable for their decisions, their actions, their votes, because shit like this literally causes murder. It's literally involuntary manslaughter. Alright, but that's all I got.